You already know it's your boy Joe back again, codingface.com, man. I'm just trying to give you guys a little preview of what you're gonna get in the future, man. All right, so we're gonna start with going back to what we was doing before, working on this Netflix app, right? This clone of Netflix. So we're supposed to have this, look like this, but right now it looks like this. It's just text. So how do we put colors and how do we change, the location of, you know, certain things, like, how do we put the logo on the left and how do we put the right menu all the way to the right? Well, the way how you do this is with CSS, right? So in your head, there's a way to basically put CSS into the file, right? So you say style, and then here you put in the code for your CSS. So like, let's say an example, we wanted to change the color of the header, right? And we want to change the color of all the fonts inside of it. So we'll say hashtag header, which means the hashtag is basically calling to the ID, right? So when you say hashtag, you're saying, okay, that's an ID. I want the ID name header, and I want to change it to background. Let's say for now, let's start with letters, right? Black, right? So you said background black, color white. Color is to change the color of the fonts inside of it. So then you say, okay, click run. See, now it changed the color of it, right? Change the color of the background and the color of every single div inside of it, all the letters inside of it. Because these divs are inside of header, so anything that's inside of the header, it gets touched by this new styles that we put in, right? So like, let's say, now let's break this down and say, okay, let's name this a class. Instead of using an ID, let's use a class. So let's say logo, and then let's copy and paste this. Class, and name this left menu, and then right menu. All right. So here we're gonna say class logo. So to actually be able to interact with the classes, instead of a hash, we use a dot. So instead of the hash, we use a dot, right? So we say, okay, let's do logo background red, and then we go left menu curly bracket blue, remember it has to be the same name, so whatever you have here, for you to change the color or the size or anything you want to do to it, you have to name it the same way. So then you go right menu, yellow. Now let's click run, see what happens. You see? Now you affected all of them, right? Now you might ask, why does it go all the way from left to right, the full width of the page? Why is it like that? Well, the div is a block element. I know this must be crazy to you. You might say, what the hell is a block element? Well, basically, every div tags is actually saying, in your styles, is actually saying like this, block, right? But if we wanted to have this to be aligning next to each other, we will have to say display inline block. So now you will go like this, and you will say, okay, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Now let's remove this from here. Now, you see? Now they're next to each other, right? Let's change the color on this. Right? Now we can read what it says. All right. Now, let's say we wanted to send this right menu all the way to the right, right? The way to do this is by floating it. You say float, and then you say right. Now, you see, it goes all the way to the right. And if you wanted to send this to the left, you would just say float to the left. But by default, it's float to the left, right? So technically right now, even though you haven't wrote it, it already says float to the left, right? So let's say you go like this. Sorry, I messed up. See, right now it's floating to the left. Now if you go like this to this one too, the left. Whoa. Now they both float into the left. But now we lost the background, right? So to basically fix that, the best way to do it is just say overflow auto. Now what it's doing is saying, okay, now it's looking around and saying, okay, now I know where everything is at. Even though when you click float to the left or float to the right, basically the parent div, which is the header, thinks that, okay, these elements are not here no more. So when you click overflow auto, it realizes, okay, there's something inside of me, and let me just, put an extra space there for it. All right. So that's a simple way. Now that's to learn, position and, how to change things. So right now I'm just giving you a small taste of what CSS can do. So pretty much right now we're gonna continue breaking this down. Okay, we have logo, left menu, right menu, right? So let's give this, you see the space here? That's called a margin, right? So you could say, okay, I want to give this a margin, or I want to give this a padding. I'm gonna give you an example. So like, let's say if I wanted to give a padding means inside. So let's say padding left 25 pixels. Now inside of the header, there's a padding for 25 pixels to the left, pretty much right there, right? And if I want to do the same thing over there, I will say padding right 25 pixels. Now I want to separate this two. I want to give these two things a padding. So how can I do that? How can I separate these two elements together? What I would do, instead of using a padding, because padding means inside of the box, inside of whatever tag or class that you're actually, trying to get. So like, let's say for the logo, instead of using padding, I will use margin. So margin to the right, let's say margin right 25 pixels. You see? So now what you're doing is you're saying outside of this box, I want 25 pixels to the right. So now you have that space. You know, we're almost getting there. We're just working on the header right now. So like let's see exactly what we have in the header. Let's see. We have the logo. Let's look at the left menu. Let's remove this. So inside of the left menu, we have 1, 2, 3 links, right? There's a sub menu that we're gonna do it later on. And right here we have 3 links. For now, we're just gonna keep 3 links, right? Links are actually, you know, like let's say right now, I wanted to click on this video, right? This right here is a link. This is gonna link me to the next page. You click that and that sends me to the next page. Alright? I click here in this image and it's a link too. And it takes me to the next page. So that's exactly the same thing that we're doing right now. We're gonna create 3 links. Basically, browse. Let me see what it says. Browse, kids, and DVD. Alright? So we say, okay, inside of this left menu, we're gonna create a list, unordered list, right? So we're gonna say UL. So there's an unordered list, and inside of the list, we're gonna create a list element, and we're gonna say inside of the list element, there's a link. Links are called anchor tags, right? So you say A, and then you put in href, which actually gives you the link. So let's say kids. Let's say kids.html, and you say okay, kids, and then you break that down, and you say okay. Let's see, what was it? Browse, kids, DVD. So we have those 3 things. Okay. See, inside of it, even though right now you can't see it, you have three links: browse, kids, DVD. Right? Now, I sort of messed up here because this links is supposed to be inside of 1 list each. So like let's say right now, let's copy this. Oops, let's copy, paste this 3 times, and let's delete. Let's just put only 1 at a time. So let's say now it looks like this, an unordered list. So an unordered list means you just have regular dots, you know, dotted list. But an ordered list would be, instead of UL, it would be with an O. OL. And then you will have numbers, or you could say you could have a list type of A, B, C, or Roman numerals, whatever you want it, right? So for now, because it's an ordered list, it's basically showing, you know, 1, 2, 3. So anyways, let's press undo, come back, turn it back to this, right? Now for us to basically take out, you know, the dotted line and dotted lines on it, basically what we do is we say, okay, let's go to left menu, right? So the UL is inside of the left menu. So you say left menu space UL, and then you say, you start a new list right there. You say, okay, list start none. That removes the style. It takes out the list styles. Now from there, let's say list style none. There's like a padding inside of it. So you say padding 0, margin 0. Now you don't have no padding, no anything, right? Now, inside of the left menu and inside of the UL, you have the LI tags. Now you want to style the tags, which is this. We already styled this. We styled the left menu, styled the UL. Now let's style this right here, the list. So let's say, let's put this to display in line. We want it like this, 1, 2, 3, right? So how we did this before, display inline block. Now we have this like that, all right? Now, let's say inside of these boxes, we want to give this space. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna say, okay, since right now we targeting every single list item that's inside the left menu. So we'll say, okay, for each one, let's put a padding of 20 pixels. So basically saying 20 pixels on top, 20 pixels to the right, 20 pixels to the bottom, and 20 pixels to the left. So a shortcut, instead of you having to write it for every single side, you will say, okay, just give me 20 pixels. And that's what happens. You see, now you have that space around it. It's an even space. This is the same thing as this. You see? Now, let's build this like this. Okay. Break it down. Let's see, what else do we do? Okay. We have that. We have logo. Let's do the same thing to the logo. Take this padding and put it here. Let's put the shortcut in, just regular 20 pixels. Now we have the logo, right? Right menu. Let's see, what does the right menu have? It's the same thing. Basically three links. So what are we gonna do? We're going to basically do the same thing. So for the right menu, we're gonna copy this. We're gonna say Command C. Not Command C, yeah, Command C in Mac. And basically say, okay, put this under here and turn this into right menu. Alright, so we have this right menu. Let's see what happens. We gotta copy this on order list, Command C, and put it inside of it and say, okay. Alright, so it's always good to indent things inside of it. So like that, you can say, okay, this is the parent, this is the child, this is the child, and this is the child. So then from there, you could say, okay, now you have things in order. Let's see what happens. Okay, browse. Now let's turn this back and see what it says. Okay, we got a search, we got a notification, and the username, right? So we put in search. Let's write bell. And let's put the username. Okay, so now we have that, right? You see? We almost getting there. We just basically putting in the basics right now. This is how you break down and you start building websites. It takes time, and this is not something that you could do in 5 seconds. Like, it's going to take a little while, and I hope you understand that. Right now, I'm giving you pretty much a preview of what you will be doing and how you gotta break things down, right? So we have the header. Let's see. Yeah, if you guys don't know Level Up Tuts, he's pretty cool. Let's see what else. What else we doing now? We up to here. We got the logo. We got the menus. Okay, I think we could leave this for now, and we'll continue to the next part, which is the body, the content. All right. I'll see you in a little bit.